Hey.
Hold on. I'm just going to bring us in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. I'm your host, Nick McQuik. As always, I'm joined in studio by a big gang of weirdos. Working the sound machine, we have Tom Pretty Boy Brent.
Pretty.
You're wearing a polo shirt.
Tom Polo shirt Brent.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Text him about his polo shirt.
The twinkle in Jamie's eye with this shirt is just like, oh no.
And
I'm
our
gonna
producer, Jamie Twinkle Eyes Nall.
We need to buy him some more polos.
Jamie's going to be ducking out
No.
halfway through this episode to go
No,
cat sit.
no, I think I don't have to leave early.
Okay. Good. We'll retract that.
No.
Jamie will be sticking around. And for those of you that are listening on iTunes, Tuned In, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Music, all that other stuff, you dum-dums, there's a whole video podcast you can watch on Facebook or on YouTube. You should check that out. That is brought to us by our amazing video producer, James Hastings.
Hey.
Hey,
How's it
James, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah? You've got a new car.
No, but
Okay.
Okay.
No,
So here's
you have an old
Here
car.
is the story all about how my car. So what happened is I drive. For those of you all of you, I drive a 1976 Dodge Aspen station wagon. It's blue. It's falling apart. Yesterday, I met up with my
76.
dad, who's been fixing up a '78 Volare, and we just swapped cars. And whatever parts he needs to get my car fixed, I'm probably gonna have to pay. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to pay him for. And then he's gonna drive it back up on a trailer. But right now, I'm driving his project car.
Your car is old enough to get a discount at a liquor store.
My car. No, it's only 76. It's 40 something. I don't know.
Oh.
It's
No, it's got to be like 1958.
it's a 42-year-old car. it's great, but it's been worked on right now. So temporarily, I have a much nicer car, which is just a beautiful '78 Volare. I don't know. It's nice. It's fun. I don't think we're here to talk about my car, though. I think
We aren't. We're here to talk about our guest. First time appearance, Marcus Ryan.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Oh, Marcus, I gotta apologize. I fucked up really bad. Lips on the tip.
Yeah, you got to talk right in the mic.
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
gave me any instructions. Though.
Sorry about that.
Teach me
This
about
is on
skills.
me. I fucked up. I'm really tired.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna blame
do your
that.
job, man. I mean, come on. What is this shit?
Big fuck
Yeah,
up.
This is why
professional.
Oh,
That's why Australians come over here and take your jobs. You know.
If you guys were wondering, he's Australian.
Yeah.
So you just finished off in Calgary.
I did. I had. Are my lips close enough to the tip?
Yep, you should be good right around
you're
there.
good now. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's perfect.
I had 9 days in Calgary at the Fringe there.
Nice.
And had a great run. He loved it.
Yeah.
So and I'm finished my last show last night and drove up here straight afterwards so I could do a little gig this morning at brunch. Never stop working, you know.
No. A brunch gig seems weird to me though. Like the very few times I've done comedy during the day,
Yeah,
that seems strange.
This was catered for a Fringe-going people. Like they're all dedicated to the Fringe, and it was kind of a showcase kind of thing. So there was about 8 or 9 of us on, and we're just basically pitching our show, and it was good fun.
Okay, and yeah, your show, Hablas Inglés.
Yeah, that was close enough. Yeah, Hablas Inglés.
Hablas Inglés.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No español for me.
No habla español, no.
No habla español.
No. It
Muy
means do you
bueno.
speak English, which is that's one of the most common phrases you'll learn in Latin America. So
Yeah. Well, you actually went to Latin America.
I did.
And how's your Spanish?
it's good.
Now?
Yeah.
Back then, was it?
No, I had to learn Spanish when I went there. Yeah.
That's one way to learn.
Well, that's the only way to
best
learn,
way.
really. The best way. It's not the
Yeah.
only way, but it's the best way, yeah.
Yeah.
If you immerse yourself in countries that speak the language, of course.
There's just so many things I could see going wrong with that, man. That's brave. You just give me one ticket to go to somewhere that I can't communicate.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what travel is, right? You know,
Well-
you want to get yourself in there and get amongst it.
As a comedian, you have all this power in your words and everything. You can elicit emotions and make people feel certain ways and everything. And then you go somewhere where all of that power is gone and you just start over.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, once you've worked enough in English, then it's like, what's the next challenge?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I can tell Nick is just fucking terrified right now. He's like, oh my god, I can't speak.
Yeah, I would go there and just babble. I would never stop talking, and they'd be like, we don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I performed in English, but I also started learning Spanish, so I could so I could perform in Spanish as well, which I ended up doing. So
So
great.
where in Latin America did you end up going?
I started in Mexico. I was in. It was actually. It happened after Edmonton Fringe 2015. I got on a plane to Mexico. I had a gig down there, and from there I just kept going south, and I traveled through all of Central America and all of South America. Pretty much
Jeez.
every country except for 2 or 3 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which ones did you skip?
I know people always they don't want to ask the ones I went to. Why didn't you go there? I missed out on Chile because it was towards the end of my little journey there, so I didn't have enough time to give that enough effort. And Venezuela because it's just not a stable place right now.
Yeah.
And then those little 2 ones next to Venezuela, which. If I had gone to Venezuela, I would have gone to those 2. So I think they're called Suriname and something else. I can't remember the names, but they're right up the top of South America.
Well, now you're back in Edmonton, ready to go back to Latin America after this.
I am. I'll be in Mexico and Belize after this.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. But you've come to Edmonton, you're doing this show, and this is a very different show than last time you were here.
Yeah, last time was more stand-up. This one is a storytelling show,
Yeah.
which is it's a show that's just basically covers all of the travels and tribulations you have. I was robbed. I was arrested. I was held up at knife point by 2 people. I was in 2 earthquakes. Fell down a volcano. I smuggled myself across a border.
Hey, let's not give away the
And-
whole show.
No, I know, no. They're just the things that happened.
Oh, that's just a Wednesday.
Honestly, they were just things that happened along the way, and I became famous from a television appearance at the Olympics as well. So there was all this stuff that happened to me, and as I was going, I was also doing gigs for English speaking audiences in all these countries, and half of the countries have never had English comedy before. So I had to set up these gigs. Like, they'd never done comedy in English.
Wow.
So I was finding venues and creating gigs and organising charity events and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun, good experience. But
Sounds like a lot of work.
it was a lot of work, yeah.
Where did you find the time to fall down volcanoes?
That was in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got injured.
As you do when you fall down a volcano.
Even at the top, we're sat up there, and you can get like, what's that smell? And they go, oh, that's the sulfuric acid or something coming up, and you're like, all right, that's no
Jeez.
good.
Don't fall down there.
I was I was gonna say snowboarded. I sandboarded down a volcano
You
in Nicaragua too.
sandboarded down.
Yeah, it's like a tourist thing you do, but it was fun.
Wow, you don't know how to stay at home and do nothing, eh?
Well, if you stay at home and do nothing, it's boring. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
you're not much of a thumb twiddler. You're a man of adventure.
Well, we're all gonna die someday.
Yeah, exactly.
Might as
So
well have
might
some fun doing it.
as well fall down a
Might as
volcano
well
or
make
two.
it sooner.
Yeah, more interesting. How did you die? Sitting at home watching television or
Yeah.
surfing down
Fell
a
into a
volcano?
volcano.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'd rather go out the fun way.
That's crazy. So this sounds like a pretty exciting adventure you're going to be talking about on stage.
Yeah, it paid off, like all those injuries and robberies. It's like, all right, I've got a good story to tell, and it has paid off. I've actually it got award nominated in Montreal. In its first run, it was shortlisted for a best comedy show in Australia, and it's sold out around the world, doing tours in Europe and Asia and now in Canada.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having fun with it.
Oh, it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Your last show that you did here was your Tinder stories, talking about meeting up ladies around the world.
It was it started off as a personal thing, like about my dating experiences, and then nobody wants to hear that. They're like, "Oh, we thought you would just do more jokes about Tinder in general." So
Yeah.
that show changed. It became I started that one in Australia, and that became just more about interacting and getting audience stories. So
Yeah.
it's a fun show to do. I don't do it as much anymore, but that's something I pull out every now and again if people want to see it.
Yeah, if you bring her to the stage.
Yeah.
And this is long form story about how long is the show?
It's a 60-minute show.
Okay, that's about an hour.
Yeah. It's about an hour, yeah. It's pretty close. 60 minutes is pretty close to an hour.
Yeah.
It depends what your measurements are.
Good about-
Are you in the metric or?
We're about 1/24th of a day with that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It is exactly an hour, 60 minutes. Give or take none seconds. Yeah.
Right on the dot.
Yeah, right on the dot. Yeah, you can set your watch by an hour, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah, it is an hour-long show. It's hard to fit a year and a half of travels. I was in 17 countries or something, for a year and a half. So it's hard to get all of that into 1 hour.
So how do you pick what you're cutting out of that? Like how long have you been crafting this show, I guess?
It started in January. So I finished my travels in December 2016, and the show began in January 2017 in Australia. And the first run was a 5-day festival in Perth. And that's where it was shortlisted for a best comedy show. So it was really good at the start, but then it's gotten better and changed, and I've switched the order on things, and I've dropped stories out which don't apply to certain audiences. People don't like certain things, or they don't get certain things. The bigger the Latino crowd there is, the more fun the show can be, because they like to reminisce and they like make fun of their own countries and stuff. So. But some people who've never been there, they don't need to have been there to understand the show, because I make it pretty accessible for everybody. So anyone that's travelled or dealt with foreign experiences or, that kind of thing, staying in hostels and whatnot, meeting random people travelling, it's a fun show. So.
Well, I imagine I've done a bit of traveling myself, but 17 countries with one backpack.
Yeah, I hitchhiked half of it as well.
Oh my god! Wow, that is crazy.
I know, I've got a death wish, I think.
It really seems like you're falling down volcanoes and hopping in cars with strangers. You can't even speak the language.
So speaking of Death Wish, do you think if they ever try and revive that series that you'll go in for Charles Bronson?
What's Death Wish? I don't even know what it is. Is this a
movie? It's a deep cut reference. Don't worry about it.
You said series, so I figured.
There's like 6 or 7 of them.
Of movies?
Yeah.
All right.
What is
Really bad.
The first couple were good.
Right.
Really bad.
Are they looking to reboot it? Because they reboot everything these days, so why not?
They might. They
Might as
might
well.
genuinely reboot it, but
Yeah,
Let's get some new Thundercats.
let's do it.
I did love Thundercats.
So you started off in Perth. Is that where you're based out of?
I'm from Victoria in Australia, but not based anywhere really. So
I was kind of wondering that. I'm like, it seems like you don't have a home to hang your hat.
Can I crash on your couch tonight? Is
This
that
isn't
cool?
even my couch.
Great, that's even better. If we don't know whose it is,
stay in this garage.
I'll sleep in this garage. That's fine. I can see a warm spot over there. I see a PowerPoint. All right, you got the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
all I need.
Yeah, you came at the weirdest time of year because it was plus 38 yesterday or 2 days ago.
I know.
And now
I was in Calgary.
now
it's the same.
freezing.
I know. I got here last night. I was like, wow, I need a jacket. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I've just been seeing smoke all week and just melting.
Yep, it's nuts. Well, like traveling around, if you've got one backpack, what do you have for a jacket situation? How does that work?
I get given clothes. I think people are just generous. Seriously, I have a friend who worked for a clothing store, and he said, "Oh, do you want a jacket?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And this is a good brand. I wouldn't have even bought this one.
So what is it? What happens then when you get warm? Do you just give it away?
Yeah, probably. I have I'm like a survival guy. I kind of I need a plastic bag and I dig a hole and I bury clothes around the world and come back. All right, there's my GPS. There's some stuff over there.
how often in your travels have you drank your own piss?
Have I drank my own piss? I don't think I've ever drank my own piss, unless I was probably in a bathtub when I was a kid or something.
Okay, that's another deep cut reference. Sorry, from Bear Grylls.
Oh, Bear
What's
Grylls!
that?
You're really just pulling out the references.
That's what he's there for.
I'm the slow.
I'm gonna do a reference for
I'm
you
the
later.
slow.
And we'll see if
Please do.
Have no.
Jeez.
See if I get it.
No, I never had to drink my own piss.
Yet.
Have you ever had to try?
If someone
Ooh.
dared me or something, for $20.
Have you ever tried to? Have you ever had to drink somebody else's piss? You did say you hitchhiked.
I've probably accidentally done it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine
You know.
you're having some oral sex.
Yeah.
With a stranger, maybe there's some-
hello. PG.
I
Keep
told
it
you
PG.
we can say whatever here. We can say you can share it with your mom.
In a Russian hotel.
Oh, getting political.
Ooh, zing.
Yeah. So when you were traveling around the world, what is one thing that you were very grateful to have? What was the most important thing to bring?
Probably a passport.
Oh yeah, I could see that being important.
Yeah, you never know when you need to leave a country. Yeah.
I could see that being real important.
I was arrested at a border in Colombia
For not trafficking cocaine?
Well, no, I actually moved a vehicle at a scene of a crime. Yeah, well, it was not a real crime. It was just an accident. But I was in the vehicle that was in an accident.
Oh, okay.
I was a passenger in the vehicle, and it was stuck on the side of a mountain, and it was on a road called the Trampoline of Death, which is
Sounds fun. Yeah, you do have a death wish.
I know, but it was like it's literally on the side of a mountain. It was one of those one road kind of mountains that you have to pull aside to let other vehicles go around you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a steep thing. Like if you had an accident and fell down, you're screwed. So we had an accident, and luckily the cars just sort of had a little head on. But in a lot of countries in Latin America, they like to just stand around and look at each other and go, "Hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And no one does anything. They do that like macho thing.
Yeah.
So all of these car, taxi, bus drivers and all that, they all got out and just looking at each other like, "Oh well, we're getting paid, regardless. We'll just stand around all day." And while we're stuck on this side of the mountain, all these other cars kept building up behind. So there was now 100 people waiting to get to their destinations, and I was one of them. And I'm like, it's getting darker now. There's kids, and we got to move this shit. Like, and no one was doing anything. So my driver got out of the vehicle and got on the back of a motorbike and went to the next town to get the police, because what they do there is they just want to get insurance and stuff. They don't want to deal with anything until they've had the police involved or something.
Yeah.
So I got in the car and got them to push it, and I just pushed the car back, and I was the one steering it, and but I didn't speak fluent Spanish, so I'm trying to negotiate with this entire crowd of Spanish-speaking people now, standing on the front of a car, going, "Okay, necesito move coche, auto, por favor," like trying to rally the troops. And I got them all to move, and they were clapping me and stuff. And then they were filming on the phone as well, like filming me doing it. I'm like, oh, shit, that's not good. So it was on video. And then I got the car off the road, and all the cars started moving. And they were, "Hey, the gringos, save the day." And then the police arrived with the drivers, and my driver hated me. He was like, "You're like," because, he wanted to have some kind of insurance problem. And I was like, I don't give a shit, dude. I'm out of here. Except that the police didn't like that, because it was a crime essentially. It's an accident. But so they confiscated my passport, and they were about to drag me back to the other town where I've just come from to put me in jail. And all of the people gathered around like, "Oh, no, he's the hero sort of guy. Like, let's let him go." And they were protesting for my innocence. And I got out of there. And I was lucky because I had to leave Colombia the next day. Like, my visa was up. Literally, I was on the 3-month mark. And if I was stuck, I would have been screwed, and even worse. And I had to pretend I couldn't speak Spanish in front of the Spanish policeman. Like, I spoke enough to understand, but I just played really dumb.
Coche is car.
No entiendo. And then I just grabbed my passport. I jumped in another car and got the hell out of there. And then the next day, all these bus drivers were seeing me. They were high-fiving me and everything. They loved it. So that was just one of the That's not even in my show. That's just a stupid thing that happened.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything you brought with you that was kind of like useless? Like you were carrying around a frying pan the whole time, and you're like, "Why do I have this?"
I was one. I'm glad you asked that.
You're welcome.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but I bought a ukulele in Colombia, thinking I would learn to play ukulele.
Oh, I could teach you.
Man, I carried it it became like a burden, but one of those things where you become stubborn and proud and like, no, I will learn this. I will teach myself. And I think I held it for about 8 months. I carried it for 8 months. And then I got to the end, and then someone put a bag on it and broke a bit of it, and it started buckling, and I took it home just out of like, no, I have to take it home now. It's like an injured soldier. Leave no man behind. But I never learnt it. It's at home as this stupid little prop
just
today.
Busted up.
Yeah.
Ukulele.
It was like $30. I'm like, oh, just throw it away, you dickhead.
It's a great deal.
Yeah.
It's a great deal on a ukulele.
It was annoying. And everyone would say, "Oh, do you play?" I'm like, I'm learning. I never did.
No, I just transport it from one place to the other.
I'm just carrying it.
It's for a friend.
Oh, this old thing? No, I just like to carry it around. I like to really piss myself off.
It's a real conversation starter.
That's an icebreaker.
Is there any
Short fucking conversation.
Short conversation. Do you play? No. Bye.
Do you play? Would you like to buy it from me?
I'm a salesman. I'm really bad at selling the one thing I've got to sell.
Jeez.
My boss says if I don't sell this, I can't come home, and I can't go home.
I'm stuck.
You talk about like your friends giving you clothes on the way and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Is there like one person that really helped you out, like that you can think of that helped you out the most on this journey?
Oh, on this journey, I'd probably be myself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, no, like I met so many people along the way, but there was no one place or person in particular that really helped me out, I don't think.
Nobody like popped a bone back in for you or something?
No, probably, I can't think of any. Oh, maybe at the Olympics I got stranded there. And some New Zealanders took me in, so that was good. I didn't have accommodation when I got there, so that was funny.
Like, what is the plan going up to that? You're just like, I'm going to go to the Olympics.
Well, I flew there because I wanted to have a holiday, and I was like, oh, that'll be fun, the Olympic Games, and I didn't book accommodation, which is stupid.
Because who else was going to go?
Oh, I've been on those trips before.
It's a busy time, there's people around.
Just a couple people from here or there?
Actually, here's the thing. I was staying with three New Zealanders in an Airbnb, which is, if you don't know the relationship between Australians and New Zealanders, that's like Guantanamo Bay for me. I was in a torture chamber.
They're Kiwis?
Yeah, the Kiwis and Aussies. We have a bit of rivalry. It's like the Flames and the Oilers.
I only know what they show on Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah. See, there's a reference now. Look at that.
Oh, I got that one too.
Yeah, you got that one. Pulling out your old Death Wish reference.
There was that whole episode where Aziz Ansari is like, oh, I don't serve your kind here. And he's like, oh, you guys are from New Zealand. Oh, it's New Zealand. Oh, it's Australians that I hate. And it was just the whole thing.
Well,
I really like that
that's a weird thing, too, because like Australians have the Aboriginals, and they don't get along very well. But then in New Zealand, they have the Maori, and it seems like nobody screws with them.
No, have you seen a Maori?
Yeah,
No, you wouldn't mess with them.
They're big murder machines.
Well, I wouldn't just stereotype them all as murder machines because that'll
Just a few of them.
Just no, I mean
In general.
Yeah, I think they're a bit intimidating. Have you seen what's that movie? Once Were Warriors.
Is that with the one about the All Blacks?
No, it's like an indie film, but it became a cult movie. It's really good. It's called Once Were Warriors, and it's a fun movie, but it sort of gets you a bit of inside knowledge on a bit of local culture there. It's
Nice.
great movie though. It's really good.
Yeah.
There was one guy at the Olympics, an American guy who was a friend of a friend, and he happened to be working at the Olympics, helping the athletes use VR, those virtual reality machines.
Oh, yeah.
Like his job was literally to stand around while the athletes weren't competing, just to give them games to play, like just in the village. And so I met him through a friend for a drink one night, and he goes, oh, if you just want to hang out another couple of weeks, I've got a hotel room, spare bed in the room, you can come crash. And I end up staying in this guy's hotel next to the village for 2 weeks, and it was awesome. And he would just go out and go to work every day, and I had the free buffet breakfast every day.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
Man.
There you go. There's the guy that helped
Continental
Yeah.
breakfast. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, when you're traveling and staying in hostels or those kind of things, like that's all right. I've hit the jackpot.
The
now.
life hack that I learned from like traveling and going around is you can walk into any hotel and just have their breakfast. Like you don't need a room key or anything. You just walk in and eat.
Do you have to? I mean, I've tried a lot of these things. Have you ever got caught out though, like telling them the wrong room number, or they ask for your name and
I've never had them approach me. The one time I saw somebody in there looking at me sideways, and they got up and they were coming towards me, I just stood up and went to the washroom, and then when I came out, I left. I was like, oh, I can see where this is going, and I'll kick myself out, thank you.
Well, they're too shy to tell a ginger to leave.
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
been through enough.
They don't want to put me out in the sun.
We get him inside, get him some shelter,
Yeah, get him some
give
shade.
him some nutrients.
Yeah, exactly. It'll burn out there.
You just gotta act like you're supposed to be there, and you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah, I love that. I just walk straight past lines and stuff like that. Who lines up for things?
Yeah. You just got to walk on through. At the Olympics, did you actually get to go into the village at all?
Didn't get into the village.
I was hoping you just
that
walked
was
in.
full credential kind of place. That's a bit strict. But I went and saw a lot of games. saw Australia win a gold medal, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Never been to an Olympics before, so that was fun. But it was fun. I was with these 3 New Zealanders, and we were going to all these different events in the daytime and getting on television everywhere, and dressed up, face paint and all this, and we're getting photos with all these athletes and stuff, and we had a great time. It was good.
Canada won a gold medal in horse dancing.
Yes, it
Dressage.
was. Here's a funny. Here's a story for you. This could be controversial, which will, really bring down the Olympics.
Yeah, because they're such an upstanding
Oh,
organization.
This is the one that we needed. This will be the straw that breaks the camel's back
bomb
on the
flash here. Bomb flash, news flash.
Yeah.
There was a couple of people volunteer to go there. People want to be a part of the Olympics and stuff. And there were these 2 girls. I was with this American guy, and we went to the Christ the Redeemer as a tourist thing. We met a German girl and an American girl in line, and we started chatting to them. And they were volunteering at the Olympics, and their idea was, they had to usher at games and stuff, and they'd stand around and just basically help out. But they were there at the horse dressage thing, or the equestrian, one of the equestrian events.
Yeah.
And their job was to be there just to help out, basically. And they were short-staffed on judges. So they were asked to sit in and judge the equestrian events. They were literally just, hey, I'm on a holiday wanting to volunteer kind of thing. Or they'd obviously registered to be volunteers and stuff. They did the legit way. But then they became judges for Olympic medals. just because it's like, hey, dude, we need a seat filled. Can you come over here? Yeah, I can do that. They have no qualifications whatsoever.
It's like, I'm John the plumber.
Yep, I like the way that horse is doing the thing. I vote for the one that's white. I like the white horse. It's my favourite.
That would be
no qualifications in equestrian at all. So basically, there's people winning medals.
That would be awesome to put on your resume, though.
I know. I said,
Olympic judge.
I said, are you now allowed to say to people you're an Olympic judge? Imagine though, for 4 years you've been training at an Olympic Games, and you're trying to be the best in the world, and all of a sudden, just someone who's just walked off the street is judging you. It's like, no, you're not you're not good at that. Yeah.
Just
You didn't horse right. No.
No, your horse is not even a horse.
What is this horsing around?
Oh God!
Wow.
Better than your references, though.
Yeah, so
It's the end of the day.
Let's put that on the Olympic website and let's see that collapse.
Oh man! So, is there one place that you went that was like you had the most fun?
Bolivia was the most fun gigs I did. I had 4 shows there, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Probably Peru was one of the best countries I've had because of the hiking.
Yeah.
I like hiking and did some amazing hikes. Also got really badly altitude sickness, but whatever.
Oh.
We've all got to die.
Did you fall down a volcano there?
No. But I went up to Machu Picchu and did that standard thing that people do.
Yeah. You just went up there and got your photo taken.
Yeah, I took my photo, did some drugs, and woo! I went into the Amazon and caught a piranha, which is kind of funny. Swam with the pink dolphins. All that sort of shit. And
isn't there like a kangaroo fish in there that's terrifying?
Well, the piranha is the fish that you see in the cartoons. That's like rah, rah, with the big teeth, but it's actually like this big. It's tiny.
Oh.
If that thing bit you, you would just like a paper cut.
Oh.
But we were in the river with caimans as well, which are it's a breed of crocodile. So it's like, all right, these things are huge, and we're also in the same river swimming. So it's like, no, they're fine.
But you're from Australia, like.
I know, but then they made us walk through this wetlands, this long grass up to our waist, and we were searching for snakes. that actually scared me, thinking, why are we walking through here trying to find snakes? Like, I don't know, something to do.
They don't have Netflix there, right? They're just walking around looking for snakes. So you basically...
They do have Amazon, though.
Yeah.
Hey, in the Amazon jungle?
Prime.
Doesn't matter, whatever. That deserved more.
Oh, wow.
That deserved more, that joke.
It did.
Amazon Prime.
But you leave Australia, which is like all of the poison things.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Amazon and you're like, I'm sure snakes are better here.
Looking for more poison. Yeah.
You're like, I'm homesick, so I'm going to find some poisonous snakes.
I finally got away from all the dangerous animals, and I'm now hunting them in the jungle. Yeah.
And swimming with
It's a silly idea.
scary things.
I know. But I mean, yeah, whatever. It's life. You gotta get out there.
It seems like you actually think life is getting as close to death as possible.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in in boring places, so it's like you've got to keep yourself interested. I think I've sat on long bus journeys in Canada, so
Yeah, those aren't fun.
that's a death wish.
Yeah, that's one way to lose your head.
I was on a. Honestly, I understand now why people take machetes on those buses. I wanted to murder some people on my Greyhound bus experience in Canada.
Oh yeah,
My
it
first
is.
Greyhound bus experience was actually the weekend after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my everybody that I knew was like, "Oh my God, you can't go on this trip," and I'm like, "I already bought the tickets, man.
Well,
It's
and
not
I
going to
mean,
happen on
It's the
every
safest
bus."
time. Like, there's not going to be another person going.
Yeah,
It's not
they
gonna
really
happen
locked this shit
so
down.
close to the last
They
bus
space them
beheading.
out.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
And besides, they were coming from Winnipeg.
And I bet your bus
Going
would
the
have been
opposite
really
way.
empty.
It was on the way back.
I got a bus from Toronto to Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
I had to head up there to do some gigs, and it was like the alternative was a flight, which was about $500 or something. And I was like, how does Canada justify the cost of it's an hour and a half flight and it's $500? It's like you could, and they go, oh, you've got to go to Thunder Bay because of the pancakes, and they do, like there's a famous Finland pancake place, and I'm like, you know what, I could have flown from Toronto to Finland cheaper and actually had real pancakes there and flown back. And
I did Montreal to Toronto on the Megabus.
Montreal to Toronto?
Yes.
Oh, that's nothing. That's like a
It
half.
was like I think it was
6 hours or something.
5 or 6, yeah, but it was on a Megabus, and that is the worst way to travel.
I'd say Greyhound's worse than Megabus.
Oh man, the Megabus was so bad. Greyhound, you have armrests, right?
Greyhound bus in Toronto, they were sticky taping stuff on the outside when I was there in the terminal. To a
Okay,
bus,
that's
and ours
pretty
was
bad.
an hour and a half late. I don't think Greyhound's anywhere near as good as Megabus.
Well, the Megabus had normally they got 2 washrooms because it's a deluxe. This one had 1 washroom and the toilet didn't flush. The other one was out of service. That one didn't work but wasn't out of service. Really made me question what the other one had going on.
My bus driver stopped in the middle of the night somewhere. Someone was smoking on the bus at the back somewhere, and there was this big black guy bus driver, and he stopped the bus like in the middle of the highway, pitch black dark, and he gets up and he turns around because he could smell the smoke, and he's like, right, whoever it is, I'm gonna find out who it is. I'm gonna get you, kind of thing. And then he's trying to like calm everyone by going, there are children on this bus, and I don't want them to be frightened. And he's like screaming down, like, I'm gonna get someone, like, I'm gonna kick you off in the middle of nowhere, which scared everyone even more. But I found it hilarious. Like, yeah, let's get some action on this bus. Let's do this.
Jeez.
But even the cost of a bus in this country is crazy. Like that was $220 I paid to get from Toronto to Thunder Bay.
That's a bad
it was
trip.
21 hours on the bus. It's like, and they go, well, what else are you going to do? There's no alternative.
Walk.
Yeah, you got no chance.
I now know why you hitchhike.
I know. Yeah, I do. I love it. I love hitchhiking.
The transportation regulation in Canada is insane. Like a flight in America from Colorado to Vegas is like $40.
Yeah.
And the same distance in Canada is so much more money, but it's because it's so regulated.
Well, it's because you've got no competition.
We don't have anyone really flying because we don't really have a population.
Yeah, exactly.
We have less population in Canada than they have in California.
Yeah.
That's
I
nuts.
know, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, same as Australia, we're a huge country and there's not many there. But the good thing is we now have multiple airlines, so there's more competition, which brings the prices down. You
Well,
know,
it's
that's
like-
what you got to do. You've got WestJet and Air Canada, is that it, or any more?
We've got
That's
the
about it.
We've
we
got,
got
a
a couple
new Leaf. We've got a couple new cheap ones.
Get a few more in, and it'll bring the prices down for sure. But now you guys have just gotten rid of Greyhound in Western Canada, so that's really sad. Like
Australia is crazy because like the only way to get to Perth is flying because I think it's the most isolated place in the world.
most isolated capital city in the world or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
so-
like you've got Darwin, which I don't think most people like.
It's a beautiful city.
Oh,
Great.
it's an incredible city, but
Yeah.
I don't think like. What's the nearest city?
No, there's no like.
You're so
yeah.
spread
I
out.
mean, there's no like
everything's-
buses that go across the
everything's-
country. or anything
Is there
as well.
anything in the middle of Australia?
Yeah,
Budgies.
big desert. But what'd you say?
Budgies.
Budgies.
That you're good too.
I don't know if budgies would be hanging out in the desert. They'd have no.
Yeah.
They do live in slightly more arid regions, but there must be water.
She's a professor of budgies.
That was like you were on a game show there. And like, budgies. I'll take budgies for $500, please.
That's actually her in all topics.
You've just got some Tourette syndrome, and budgies is the only word
Loves
you say.
budgies.
That you pretty much nailed
What's the
it.
weather
Yeah.
like today? Budgies.
Budgies. It's Tourette's.
Baby budgies.
Baby budgies.
But yeah, the center of Australia, that seems like there's nothing there.
And most of it is a big barren desert. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're covered in sand, and even on the outside there's sand, beaches everywhere. So, yeah, I think 90% or 85 or 90, even 95% of Australians live on the coast or within 10 miles of the coast or something like that.
Nice.
It's a big.
Well, my wife wants to go to Bali and then the Gold Coast, but I'm a ginger, and you guys have very terrible ozone.
We do, but
You number one skin cancer in the world.
we also have hats and sunscreen. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, there's ways. And we have hotels you can just go in and have free breakfast. So
Oh, yeah,
get in
exactly.
there.
Perfect. I'll do great in there. Stay away from the windows.
Yeah, you wait in there while she goes out and enjoys the sun.
All Australia seems like such a magical place.
I mean, it's nature-wise, yeah, of course.
Nature-wise. Every Australian that I meet, though, that is outside of Australia is always like, I don't know. There's so many things there.
Wow, have you seen the news?
Yes.
Yeah, our politics are terrible. Our government hates immigrants, and we do what, we lock people up on islands and detention centres, and we've
Yep.
only just legalised gay marriage recently.
That's pretty new for you
They're
guys.
drilling holes in the Great Barrier Reef, and it's almost dead. And they still dig up coal, and it's a
Yep.
pretty backward place in that. And we're still racist as a generalisation.
I feel like a lot of Australians.
murder you.
And there's budgies galore. And there's a budgie plague in the desert.
All right, there's the range right there.
That's where all the budgies are?
Yeah.
In the green area.
Yeah.
That's just all
The middle.
budgies. That's an
All
aerial
budgies.
photograph of the budgies.
All budgies.
Basically an island of budgies. I feel like
rename Australia
Australians are really
Budgeaustralia.
upset. They seem almost embarrassed by bogans.
Bogans, yeah. They're, for those listeners who don't know what a bogan is, take a drive out to Banff or Jasper. They all reside there.
I think that
Oh.
we call
Ooh,
them
controversial.
Yeah, we call them hillbillies here.
Yeah, we call them rednecks or bogans. No,
Yeah.
England sent the criminals to Australia. We sent our criminals to Banff.
That summarizes it
to
nicely.
impregnate your women, and they do.
Yep.
No, they're fine.
Snowboard down the hills.
No, bogans are just, lovable Aussies. And I have a good story about those in the show, but
Nice.
that's something
That's for the show.
I'll leave that.
You guys
Yeah,
gotta
no, I
see
can't.
it.
I can't.
You gotta go see the
Yeah,
show.
you got to see this twice award-nominated show.
Oh.
What awards did they get nominated
They
for?
got nominated Best English Show at the Just for Laughs, and it was the short list at the
Fringe
World.
World in Perth in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's been a fun show. Now, like I usually do stand-up comedy, and then people, just at comedy clubs, and now I'm doing festivals where actual judges go, "Yes, this is good," and I go, "Oh, good, someone else said that."
Well, I haven't seen you do stand-up comedy in a while, but the last time I remember it was way better than John Bennett.
Well, he's more of a straight storyteller. I know he does comedy as well. But
You're like, whoa, why are we getting into this?
don't drag my buddy John down. No, John's great. Oh, and John is like, if anyone's in, I don't know, where's the most of your listeners? Are they
Oddly enough, we have like Central Alberta.
in the garage? Is
Yeah,
that-
in the garage. We have Central Alberta. But the weird thing is we keep on getting like a few listens in Australia.
All right. Well,
That's why I'm like, oh, hey, let's
send me some Vegemite. Help. No, well, I gig everywhere. I've gigged in 42 countries around the world. So it's nice to know, like, if there's listeners anywhere in the world, I'm like, oh, reach out, tell me where I can do a gig.
Yeah.
I'm like a junkie. I need a fix. I'm like, oh, give me a new country.
Well, we've got a couple in Toronto, and that's sort of like a new country.
Yeah, I just I just came from there. I've just done my East Coast. I've been in Canada for 3 months. This is like the last part of my my little tour.
You're not going to hang around for winter?
I'm heading down to the US after this. I'm down to Burning Man for a bit of a fun in the desert, and then to Mexico, and I've got a gig down in Belize as well.
You want to talk about they really got their political system on straight. They really figured out what they're doing. You're going to the good place.
In the
really,
desert?
No, the U.S. They really have got it all figured out politically.
I haven't seen the news lately. How's the US doing?
There's no sort of divisiveness or anything. They're
Nothing
unified.
significant.
Yeah, it sounds like everything's going smooth.
It's great. Enjoy Burning Man. Stay away from Guantanamo Bay.
No, it's good. I like the US. Once you're in the US, it's fun.
I was just in New York a little while ago, and that was good.
You know, I love New York. I just wish there was some kind of T-shirt I could buy to tell people about it.
Yeah, if
you
only
know?
they sold shirts.
Oh, man, how do you convey your emotions about that city?
Exactly. It seems like nobody's heard about it. It's it was fun. I got to see because I travel around the world and see homeless people because I grew up without homeless people. But
You travel around the world to meet homeless people?
yeah, I'm weird. But I grew up in Dawson City, Yukon. It's about a 30-hour drive north of here, and there's no
Okay.
homeless people because winter.
Yeah.
But when I was in New York, I saw the best like homeless people that I've seen because I saw a woman and she had a cat tower, one of those cat towers with cats on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm picturing someone stacking a pile of cats on top of each other. And
No,
I
no.
thought that
You
would
could
be
probably find that
hilarious.
too.
No, one of the
Like
a scratching post.
How many can you get on top of each other?
Jenga with cats.
If they're dead, quite a few.
If they're dead, quite a few.
It depends on how you cut them.
Well, they're dead because they're chasing all the budgies in the middle of Australia.
Yeah.
And then they're
And that
dying
They
of-
run out of
That
dying
water.
of
gets
heat
to 'em.
exhaustion.
Or bigger birds eat them.
Oh.
How many cats did she get though? It was one of those things that cats climb on. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like a scratching
Yeah.
post.
Oh,
And I
scratching
think she had
post.
2 cats, and she had them on a leash, and she had like a TV, and it was all plugged in, like everything, and she was living on this blanket.
Was she watching television?
Yeah, she had TV.
Oh, so
on.
it worked.
Yeah, she was watching television
What are they complaining about? I mean, I don't even have a television.
Well,
Jeez.
they converted all their telephone booths into these weird podiums that you can
Yeah.
plug in your phone and charge them. But she lived at it now.
She had
So
two
she had it
cats.
there, and she had 2 cats on leashes, and they were on the scratching thing. And her husband was yelling at her, and she put the blanket over her head and said, "I'm in the other room. I'm in the other." And I'm
Oh,
like,
that is adorable.
I was like, they have like a house.
On the street though.
They built like these aren't people that are like we need to save up for food. They have a TV.
Yeah,
They
that's
have
like an
pets.
open plan office, but an open plan house. Let's just.
That's a very open concept.
Oh.
So when I saw that, I was like, wow, they just have different priorities.
And you could choose anywhere in New York to live. Like that's like, well,
If you could make it there, you could make it anywhere.
Oh, start spreading the news.
Da, 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 da.
Could you imagine though the cops like, okay, you got to move, and you just pack up everything, and walk over a street, put it all down, and you're like, I live here now.
Do you want to come back to my place? I have cats. If you've got an allergy, just be careful. I have cats.
Don't worry, it's fine. It's very outdoorsy.
Maybe you just saw Cats the musical. It's always
Oh,
running
that-
on.
yeah,
It's
it
always
was
running
Bro-
on Broadway.
It's on Broadway, yeah.
That was the cheap version.
And then
You should take your wife there and go, "Hey, I took you to see Cats on Broadway."
we went to Central Park, and we had a guy, this photographer that she had hired to take photos of us. And the photographer would like move and take photos in certain ways. And I'm like, well, why are you jumping around? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, because there's like a bunch of homeless people in that bush, and we don't want to get them in the photo. And I'm like, oh, okay. Just really good at
Fix
finding
it in
them.
post, girl.
Just really clean up the streets here.
I was like really bad at Where's Waldo when I was a kid. So I'm
Yeah.
walking around, and it's like, oh, over there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's 5 people in that bush. So... No.
Spot the homeless. But
Yeah, New York had some of the best homeless people that I think I've ever seen. I found them on the ferry too, the Staten Island ferry.
you found them. Like, is it like Pokemon or something?
Yeah, you gotta
Is there an app
catch
to
'em
try
all.
and catch a homeless
Yeah,
person?
catch them all. But because it's a free ferry, they would just get on it
Yeah.
and then ride it back and forth.
Yeah. Well, think of the savings.
Yeah.
I find this hard to talk. Sometimes people go, "Oh, so where do you live?" And I go, "Oh, I don't really live anywhere." And they say, "Oh, so do you have a house?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And they go, "Oh, so you're homeless?" I'm like, "Oh, Yeah, I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
No, you're nomadic.
I'm nomadic, yeah, I know, but I am technically homeless.
What does your driver's license say?
It says my name. And,
It doesn't.
It's my. I mean, it's where I grew up in my hometown in Australia. So
Oh, okay.
that's still there. And if anyone ever needs to post a letter to me, it goes there. Or I say, hey, get with the times, the internet.
Yeah. Send
Yeah.
one of those
Send
e-letters.
one of those e-letters. I had to get
How
paid.
do you deal with a photo radar or something then? Like if you were to get a ticket, like a parking ticket.
No, I just don't. I wouldn't deal with that. I've even had tickets in Australia, and I've just told them, no, I don't live here. I'm not from here. So I'm pretty. I'm catch me if you can.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know why. Let's leave no trace. I believe.
God.
I believe why.
That's very liberating. Liberating.
Hey guys, we have a little technical problem going on with this episode, which is weird. That's not normally how it goes. So I guess I will just take you to the last minute of it here. Marcus Ryan is performing at the Edmonton Fringe Fest August 17th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 24th, and 25th. You can check out all of the cool stuff at itsmarcusryan.com or check out Marcus Ryan on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to have a lot of cool episodes coming up. We actually have our next one's a little controversial, so tune in for that one and let us know your thoughts on religion. Guys, I had an amazing time making this. There was laughs all around, but those laughs don't keep the lights on. We're not asking for your money, just your attention. Give us a like on Facebook, YouTube, all those sort of things. Share the podcast how you can. Get the word out. It makes us look a little bit better to advertisers, and then we can start making money to bring you the funny. Anyway, I've been Nick McQuik, and I'm going to keep being Nick McQuik. Goodbye.
Dating.